That was a senseless construction site.
It's a well-spent day with your Land Rover.
You're gonna get restricted performance. You missed it. It's a rainy day and it's the first day we really can spend on our car. We picked it up last week. Vera got it registered and the car goes into limp mode. That is the #1 problem. I hope we're gonna need a tie wrap and a piece of wire and it runs. In my mind it works like that, but we'll find out.
Actually, I expected to take out the engine already. Whoa, 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 whoa. Good, stop. Fit past out the garage.
Oh, that's tighter than we. When I read out the faults with the gap tool, I get the same faults as the dealership got, who estimated 2,700 euros to fix this problem. And I don't think we need that kind of money to fix it.
2,700 euros is for us an engine fix with a crankshaft.
The vehicle drove just fine on our way back. So if we're really lucky, we fix it with a tie wrap and a piece of wire.
Yes, but he already spent 600 euros in spare parts and maintenance equipment, just in case.
Okay, just in case. There is a really good website what I used as a resource. It's called, I put it right here what the website is called, I forgot, but that's where I downloaded, for example, the workshop manual for it. So as you can see here, the entire vehicle is detailed and they cleaned the inside professionally.
Yeah, usually we buy vehicles where you have to puke on the way home.
I looked up the fault codes out of the gap tool in the workshop manual. There are actually 2 faults occurring, but one comes only once in a while and the other one comes every time. If I drive at low RPM, high RPM, doesn't matter. And it's that turbocharger, supercharger, boost sensor A circuit unexpected operation. So this is a plausibility fault. Now it does, for example, first say here boost air solenoid stuck open mono turbo mode. I think this is why the workshop said they're gonna replace the actuator of the primary turbo. We're gonna start basically intake air system blocked, low pressure or intake. So maybe somewhere here we got a blockage. I don't know when that air filter was out the last time. It could be that it's completely clogged up. And while we have that air filter out, we simply gotta do a smoke test to see if there's any leak in the vehicle.
And put in a new air filter.
Yeah, we already bought it.
And by the way, there's no battery in here and that sucks. It's a small air filter box. But there's a second one.
Basically the primary turbo gets supplied from this one, the secondary turbo from this one. So this air filter box over there is typically clean even after many, many thousands of miles, because it only kicks in after whatever 2,500 RPM versus this one is used all the time. Okay, not very dirty. The vehicle...
What? That is as dirty as it gets in our garage.
So the vehicle is Land Rover maintained. So everything we find here was done by somebody in an official Land Rover dealership. The second airbox I can take out as a whole. I'm pretty sure this air filter is going to be like new, if this one is already not bad.
You should detail that now.
Yeah, there is. Now it's not that clean anymore. Right?
Yeah. Do you know what is what?
Yeah, plus is minus.
Red is black and plus is minus.
You got it.
Oh my God.
So I got our smoke tester set up. If you want to know how this thing works, we have a separate video about that on our channel.
So where are we going to plug that thing in?
While this is developing smoke, we take our plug. It's specially made for this purpose, okay? It's a smoke testing device. See, it has an additional hose going through. The ones you are thinking about don't have that feature. Plug's getting tight. And now all I gotta do is take the smoke, put it in here.
Oh.
Now we gotta wait. At one point, the smoke is gonna come out somewhere. Now the charge valve here in the front is disconnecting this entire track here from this source of smoke. So if this valve is functioning, it's closed right now, which means all the smoke we put in is actually now going all the way above the valves. Still putting in smoke here?
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Now 1 weak spot of the TDV8 is basically these hoses here connecting the intake to the plenum here. And they are already an improved version here. They don't look like the ones in YouTube where people had problems with.
That is a weak spot on the Discovery 4.
That's a weak spot, but there is nothing here.
Yeah. No, Christian, we can stop. It's like on David's car.
No, we're gonna pull off this sensor here.
Oh, really?
Okay? What is that, you know? Manifold absolute pressure. It's all the way there, the smoke.
So that engine is sealed. There is no crack.
Let's close this up. Give it a little more flow. We're not getting away that easy.
No.
If this would be a Discovery 4, it would be smoke all over the place already.
We got the first step done. Now we have to check the boost air solenoid, if that's stuck open, or the turbine intake solenoid, if that's leaking.
The fault description is talking about two different valves. One is the turbine shutoff valve. That is basically a valve mounted to the secondary turbo, and it turns that turbo on and off. It is actuated with a vacuum actuator, and every vacuum actuator has a valve. That valve is called the turbine shutoff solenoid, and we're gonna have to inspect that circuit. So we're gonna have to check the function of the solenoid, we're gonna have to check the vacuum tube, and we're gonna have to make sure that this flap inside the turbo is still working.
How are we gonna do that?
Turbine intake shutoff valve. I know that the valve can look like this. The boost charge air solenoid, which is right next to it, has a mounting flange. So I can distinguish between the two. When I look down here, here is the valve. Right here.
Ah, yeah, I see.
Okay, so now here I got my vacuum pump now, and I can apply now vacuum to the turbo. And what I want to hear is some sort of a noise. And you hear it.
You talk too much. I don't hear anything.
I hear it.
No.
Listen carefully. You can hear it. You can hear the valve doing something. And what I also check is how much vacuum I need to actuate it. This is already enough, which gives me the impression it's not stuck. Also, the turbine shutoff valve has an electrical sensor, and if it wouldn't move, it would give me an error message. It looks dangerous now.
At least I'm not. I think the last time I was down here, I was wearing a dress.
And here, you can see right here, this is the turbocharger bypass valve. Basically, this valve directs the pressure from the secondary turbo into the intake. And it's a flap valve right in here. That's the vacuum actuator. You can see that. I basically got the hose disconnected, and I got my vacuum pump connected to it. Now see what it's doing. 1 push, 2, 3. It's moving. 4, 5, 6 to get it to actuate.
Oh.
It's not stuck, but it's really tough to move. So I wonder why that is. Like this?
Yeah.
Or you can see it's not moving smoothly. And I need a lot of vacuum. We're gonna take this baby out and inspect it. Because,
now?
Yes.
Our Discovery doesn't have that.
Of course it has that. It has that on this side behind the cooler here.
Yeah, but did we head it out?
Yes, on Rainer's car we had it out on. While we are down here, it does have a leak here on this hydraulic actuator.
They have a problem.
It has a leak here. All of them have a problem, but there is a huge oil leak. You can see it's all wet right here. So
What?
we did
Oh
buy.
my God.
So I think the oil is coming from the back side of the engine, and then it's just driven slowly back over the transmission. That's why it's wet on this side and on this side. So that is something we have to address. This oil leak is very serious. Did you notice that it has an electric servo pump for the steering? What we're gonna have to do is get this valve out. So you go up there and give me the tools, please.
Yes.
She wants to stay now down here and work with me, but how are we gonna get the tools down?
Yeah, you wish.
Now, what I can say is that every bolt I'm taking out, I looked at in the manual. What I got to do now is disconnect the hoses. That will be a little bit of a fight. Now, this is a much tougher job than I thought. Okay, well, first of all, there is no oil.
That's good. So that's the second hose.
Okay, that one also comes off really easy. See, it was a nice plop.
Oh, that one's a little bit tougher.
Oh, see, I got it off.
Yeah.
Okay, but there are 2 more.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if it fits through this gap.
Yes. So we have the first debacle.
First snapped off bolt, so And look how long it is. It's gonna be a debacle to drill this one out of aluminum that deep.
Oh my God. It's gonna drop on your head.
So the idea is to get this thing out of the way a little bit to make more room.
Oh.
And then drill out this bolt for 2 days. This is now hanging on the sway bars. Here, see? I can indeed get it away a little bit.
Oh, Christian, there is something loose over there. I even see that.
I don't know if that's the wrong way. This chapter of the manual didn't work. Okay.
This chapter didn't work. I wonder why. What the?
It was quite a battle, I have to say. And I think we're never going to get that back together.
I don't think so either.
This is like a different league compared to a Discovery, okay? The first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this actuator off. Possibly without breaking anything off.
Oh yeah, please, that part looks expensive.
Yeah, it's 900 euros.
Oh my God. I'm gonna go in front of my oven for 5 minutes and warm up. I'm gonna take some wood and... Oops. So that's only gonna take a couple of minutes. It's gonna be nice and warm in a second.
So this valve is sealing against this lip here, obviously. Rubber gasket in here. And this is the valve body. Now this is the actuation and that looks decent, okay?
Oh my God.
That's just fine. Also, this valve is designed to have here a certain amount of articulation.
Yeah.
There, and also in this direction.
Yeah.
There. I checked this articulation. It's large enough to cover a flat surface. Definitely. So this is designed well. The rubber is somewhat still soft. This is Persian blue, okay?
You sure it's Persian and not Prussian?
This is Tuschierpaste in Blau.
Okay, that's a better name.
This blue paste does not cure, okay? Put this on this absolute flat surface. Make sure it's not wiggling. Now I close it once. And I open it.
Yeah.
Now it's open again. There's my ring. It's somewhat decent.
Yeah, it's perfect.
It's perfect. It has contact, okay? Now let's take this piece. And when I go here with this block and I set it on, this block is sitting flat.
Yeah.
Now let me put this block on here. Now watch it.
Yeah, it's wiggling.
It's wiggling.
Oh my God.
This surface is not flat because it's also not machined. It's basically the injection molding casting. This rubber ages over time. It loses the softness inside. And when it's brand new and it's still nice and soft, it's actually able to seal on this surface just fine. But as it is aging, okay, and getting harder, it's not compensating for the tolerances in that surface anymore. That's my conclusion. I just gonna machine this absolutely flat and polish it. I think then I'm actually increasing the life of this thing significantly.
Oh my God.
At least it's gonna be good enough to find out if that cures the problem. And if it cures the problem, I can still get a new valve.
Shit. Okay.
I got this now set up in my lathe by 1/10 of a millimeter on this surface. And then I'm just gonna cut over this entire surface. I got that completely machined, nice and even, so it got a surface to sit on. Look at that. But it's sitting nicely all the way around. Very well. And open it. Perfect seat all the way around. Just filled some water in, let it sit for a while, see if there's anything getting on my paper here below. Looking good, I think. Okay, I gotta attack now this broken bolt here. What a debacle. See, I got a bolt in here. I use that as a guide to make sure I get straight and parallel. Wow. So this is the helicoil drill. we're gonna put in an M12 helicoil. Okay, for the desktop mechanics out there, or bed top, wherever you are right now, if you put one of these helicoils into aluminium, then it's equivalent from the torque as you would put your bolt into steel. The only reason they make their threads so extremely long in aluminium is because they want to get the same torque as they would get in steel.
And we are helicoil people. So look at his setup.
So I got the tap in all the way, so this should make every desktop mechanic happy.
You don't see much, but
no.
He is putting in the helicoil.
There it's in. Gotta break off the tap. And hopefully it falls out. Come on. Is it there? Is it there?
Here is the helicoil piece that needs to break off.
Yeah, let's look in your screw stash.
Those are old Land Rover bolts.
That's where we start.
Oh
okay.
my god, they are leftovers from my Discovery 3 rebuild.
Oh, that's our new thread. Temporary bolt only, because that's only an 8.8.
Yeah, we're gonna buy a Land Rover.
We're gonna have to
original
replace that one.
And it looks like somebody has already been in there.
Okay, the back ones are 120, so I need the large ratchet. Little tighter. Good.
Good.
That was a senseless construction site.
It's a well-spent day with your Land Rover.
While we're in here, of course, we're gonna clean the manifold absolute pressure sensor. It does look like it got cleaned before. They are usually much dirtier than that. That's mass airflow sensor cleaner. Because I think brake cleaner is a little harsh. It removes the softener in the membrane.
Yeah.
And then the queen can be very unhappy about it.
Turn around towards me.
Why?
Because then you are talking to the people and not to the lamp.
I'm talking to the sensor.
Don't we want to use some silicone grease?
In the next life.
So Christian actually thought he's gonna plug in a plug and tighten some hose clamps and it's good.
It's a diva.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
We are not used to that.
The gap tool is telling us the fault, and then the manual is telling us what to do. And the manual tells us intake leak system fault or problems with the valve. This valve or this valve back here. We touched now so many things, we're going to put it back together and go on a test drive.
I'm going to use a massage seat. That engine bay is so filled up with stuff. When we did the leak test, we also should have looked here underneath because there's also a lot of stuff. And I don't think smoke would have risen up that easily.
Okay, we can redo the leak test again. Most likely that's what we have to do anyhow. Did you notice that it took only 30 seconds to install this airbox? How can you do that on a Toyota? It was a brand new air filter into the Queen.
A Queen has proper manners, Christian.
So there was a vacuum hose going on here. That's the hose connected to these two valves.
I don't know.
We want to get the Queen unhappy. Introducing a secondary problem, which is most of the time the major problem on Land Rovers. People try to fix them and they introduce secondary problems.
I would have started with that problem. Start with the most obvious thing that is wrong.
Well, that's what I did. The most obvious thing is that the Queen don't run. Yeah, we're gonna fix the coolant problem. That's gonna take an engine out, but we're gonna do that this afternoon.
Oh my God.
On a Sunday.
What I like to look at is the name of the color. And here, they stopped doing that.
I think the color is Envy White.
So he's got his camera set up so we can see the actuator.
You're exactly right.
Yeah. At least all the lights are working. And my poor Discovery has to sleep on the road. That's not okay. While we are taking the Queen on a test drive right now.
We want to see if it does a full stroke or if it's like half-ass.
It's probably going to be half-ass, but still working.
I mounted the camera to the sway bar. That's why it's bouncing up and down, okay? Maybe that wasn't the smartest thing to do. Here.
It's in?
It is in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Out.
Out. And in one smooth.
Yeah, one smooth full step.
Yeah.
Now, I never went over the hill and down on the other side because if it goes into limp mode, I'm afraid I'm not going to get back up and get back home. That's an adventure.
Oh my God, physically.
Okay, let's first give it some beans up here.
Yeah, wait a second. Whoa.
Already,
Oh, it's in?
We're already going 120.
Yeah, don't do that.
It's really hard to stay in that mode.
Just watch the road, it's icy.
Do I have to explain this to 80% of our Australian viewers now?
Yes, and we have 2 summer tires.
Gonna get restricted performance. You missed it.
No, I got it.
And now we're down on the other side.
Oh, fuck. So we are in limp mode and it's actually crawling uphill.
It's almost not making it, okay? 25 kilometers per hour, but now we're almost up on the hill. Vera doesn't like to go on test drives where I go fast and slow.
And I have to look down on the screen because I get sick to my stomach badly.
And I think for the rest of the day we're going to go on a test drive and we're going to use the gap tool and we're going to try to learn more about the behavior of this problem, because the way it looks right now is indeed the turbine shut-off mechanism is stuck once in a while. Look at that. Look at the response from the turbocharger.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Holy cow. So what did you do? Usually it has a reduced performance fault by now.
You know how we said we're going to fix that problem on our way home to McDonald's?
Yeah, you could have.
We could have.
Really?
I was too stupid. Okay.
Oh my God.
I could have fixed it on our way home to McDonald's, but instead it took me 4 demanding and hard weeks.
Yes, because we were looking for a mechanical failure.
Yeah, and I was working on it every evening.
Yes.
Doing test drives and stuff. I mean, for crying out loud, I used an entire gas tank and the thing holds 100-liter diesel on test drives, and I could not figure out the problem. And it was at the tip of my fingers. Literally. During the test drive. And it took me 4 weeks. It's so unbelievable. I'm gonna make you find this problem now. I'm gonna put the problem back and then you find it.
No, don't put the problem back.
Okay, I gotta end the video here. I'm sorry guys. I can't reveal what the actual problem was in this video. You would be missing out on too much extremely entertaining fault finding footage from the last 2 weeks. In the next video, we're gonna reveal what it is, and you can finally fix your own L405 restricted performance issue you've been driving around with for 2 years in a row, and they did not find it in the workshop.
Maybe.
But for this video, that's enough here. We're already at 25 minutes, and we're gonna lose a lot of clicks if we keep on going for another 20 minutes now, showing you what we all did, and trust me, we did a lot. You see the actuator. This is...
Let me enjoy that too.
This actuator, you can see, this is that part here, okay? Boop, boop. And there, the purple line is the feedback value coming from that linear potentiometer, and the red line is the command from the ECU. So I think I got it timed a little bit wrong. And you can see it's working. As long as there is a command coming, the actuator is working, see? That's what it's doing. You know, where was the false actuation? I go all the way to the end and there is no actuation here. There is no signal, but the actuator is moving. So magically it moved. And that's why I thought, what is moving my actuator? Then I thought it's this valve. It wasn't the valve, it was my airbox.
We never worked that hard for a single problem, and we just fixed Fabian's car yesterday, again for 10 hours, and it wasn't that bad.
And we had the problem already fixed during our test drive. So the really smart desktop mechanics can go back to our previous video and actually notice what the problem is. And please, all others, come back next week and watch our endeavor of trying to fix this problem. You're not going to imagine what we all did. The car is probably now better than it was when it left the factory.
Even though it's a much more complex car, it's still just nuts and bolts and hoses just plugged in together differently than on a Discovery. But at the end of the day, it's all the same.
It's as simple as a Toyota.
Yeah.
At this point, we want to thank our patrons a lot for their support, and
We'll see you next Sunday.
in a new year.
Yes. Probably on my birthday.
This is unbelievable.